can know exactly where you're going to place the bits and pieces of your vegetables and fruits that you're going to be cutting from each of the papers. As you can see, I've already got layer 1 opened. It is renamed Colors. And in each of the squares, because remember I've got 6 by 6 inch squares, I have labeled a color. Now, yes, I have 5 colors, so that means I'm going to have to add another layer with just that one color on it. But for this one, I've labeled a square for dark green, a square for my lighter green, a square for my medium red, and a square for my light red, which means my darkest reddish color, or the purple, will have to come on its own screen. But in this way, I can figure out exactly what I want to put where, and that way my lights and shadows can look really good in the end. Next thing I'm going to open up my layer 2, and I'm going to start moving around. Get it up there. I'm going to start moving around the different things that I want in the colors. This square again is dark green. I have to undo those. It's dark green. So that usually means that the highlights of each one of my colors are going to go there. So I'm going to take, first of all, I'm going to take the leaves from my cherries, put it over here in the dark green. Here's my grapes. Those will be dark, dark, probably this one. And I think that'll be it for now. On my light green, I'm going to have the highlights and the highlights. My light red, I'm going to take my cherry in its background. I'm going to take the plum and put it there. Now that leaves us with these two pieces. What I'm going to do is I'm going to group them. I'm going to deselect it, open a new layer, and remember I have one more color. Go to my Advanced tab, duplicate it, and put them in the box where on the second cutting I will have my deepest, darkest color. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to this layer, and I'm going to delete these cuts. Now, if I want to, I can go through, oops, forgot that. It's a cherry, let's go to medium red. I can go through and I can actually duplicate anything that I want in more than one item. So let's duplicate cherries. And duplicate their leaves. And duplicate the stems and the leaves. Now on all of those duplicates, just to get a little bit of motion going, I'm going to flip them. So that means I have to go through and flip at least one of everything that I've done. I'll have to duplicate and flip. Now it's going to be a little confusing later, but try to remember that you do have some flipped. Before we go to cutting, I did forget to refer you back to your first screen. I have placed my 6-inch squares. Now I'm going to be using my Imagine simply because it's available to me, in the same order that I have my screen set up. My arrow is at this end. I think you can see it in the corner there. And so according to my Gypsy screen, I have my dark green, my light green, my medium red, and my lighter red, and I've kept my darkest red, or my purple, just set it to the side until I cut my second set. So this is how my mat's set up, and I'm going to now take it to my machine and do some cutting. I wanted to show you the leaf. I'm going to actually be making a picture frame out of this, so I want to give my leaf a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to take this is just a little skewer, you know, like the kind you get for barbecue stuff. And I'm rolling it over my skewer, and I'm going to then make sure that it keeps that depth and dimension. Sometimes you've got to do it several times. It's gonna roll very nicely because it's a double layer. I am going to take probably and put a pop dot underneath that leaf. So just probably right down in there. And in order to, just where you can see it, probably give it a little bit more oomph. I'm going to take the pointed edge and just run it up and down the center 2 or 3 times. Kind of crease 1/2 of it that direction. The more you manipulate these leaves, the softer the paper gets, and actually the more depth it'll have. You see? I think that looks pretty cool. And now, there's supposed to be a smaller leaf according to the card on that, but you know, they're just suggestions. So I'm going to take, and I'm not going to put it on there because I've got quite a bit of shading. I'm just going to give my little leaf, run that over my skewer, crease it in the middle, and I'll probably put that up here just to give a little extra. And I'll probably end up doing all the rest of my leaves in a similar manner. I'll show you the finished parts in just a sec.